Coming up next, I'll share 4 essential components of a successful side hustle, 3 emotions you experience when you face fear. We'll take your chats and your calls. It all starts right now. Coming to you live from Ramsey Studios in Nashville. You're joining a conversation about who you are, what you were created to do, where you want to do it, and how you can get there. It's all about you because you were created to fill a unique role. That means you are needed, even if you don't feel that way today. You are, in fact, needed. There is something the world needs from you, and I am here to help you figure out what it is and then show you, guide you, cheer you on to get there because there's a contribution that all of us have. So excited to have you with us. As you are watching today, jump into the chat room a little bit later. We'll get your questions. So fire those questions away straight and to the point because I can't go back and forth. Now, if you got a question that requires some back and forth, guess what? It's a toll-free number, 844-747-2577, 844-747-2577. Come on. I'm right here for you. It's one phone call away, and it's easy. I promise. I'm going to take really, really good care of you. So join the conversation. We'll get to those chats a little bit later. And while you're watching, if you enjoy the show, if it's encouraging you, right there at the bottom right-hand corner, I believe is where it is, below the video right now, hit that thumbs up. That is a wonderful way for YouTube to see that you are consuming and enjoying it. It really helps us. They pay attention to this stuff and they spread our show on their own. So give us a like if you're enjoying it. If you haven't subscribed yet, give us a subscribe. We really appreciate that as well. So 4 essential components of a successful side hustle. I saw this from Ladders. Again, I am a contributor to Ladders, a wonderful website, putting out a lot of practical content. So not only am I contributing content, I'm reading their content. I think it's great. So I saw this article. This is super quick, but we have a lot of people who call the show and you're telling me, hey, Ken, I know I want to start my own business one day. What do I do? And I always say, when the time is right, and we go through the different circumstances, you need to start it on the side. And we win on the side, and then we scale it up. So what are the 4 things that will make your side hustle successful? My friends at Ladders have it for you. Here we go. Number 1, do you serve a need or want? Now think about this. It can't just be an idea that you love. Does it serve a need? Does it provide a solution, solve a problem, is how I say it on the show. So you've got to be thinking, what problem does this business solve? What solution does it provide? And I think there are times where we're too narrow. And I think there are times where the narrow idea can explode and change the world. All right. By and large, when you're thinking through this side business or this entrepreneurial adventure that you want to pursue, is it a big enough of a problem that if you solve it in a different way or in a better way, there's a lot of business out in front of you? Number 2, passion is essential. Now, you have to think about your side hustle as a hobby. I like how they write this. So if you think about your side hustle as a hobby, something that you just get to do and, make a little bit of money while doing something you enjoy, this is the right mindset, and I'm going to tell you why. If it's a business idea and you think, well, it could make money, but it doesn't fire your heart up, here's what's going to happen. When things get hard, and they're going to get hard, the entrepreneurial journey is excruciatingly difficult. And so when that happens, you won't stay the course. But if you love it, you have passion for it, which, by the way, the root of the word passion is to struggle. This idea of, if I struggle for something and I want to keep struggling because it's worth the struggle, that is what passion means. So you better have some juice, as I like to say, because if you don't have the juice, your cup is empty. When things go bad, you're going to fold. The winning entrepreneurs are so crazy, maniacally fired up for this solution or service or problem solving that they'll just put up with anything. And then next, 3rd, take money out of the picture, at least in the beginning. I love this. You cannot rely on this thing to actually support you. That will kill you. Because again, I just discussed this. There's going to be some hardships. There's going to be some unknowns. And if you've got all of your eggs in that basket as it relates to providing for you, you can't stay the course because you got to go make money. This has got to be a thing. You just do it for love and the money's going to follow eventually. Then fourth, is there room to grow? Is there room to grow? Meaning, is this a high margin, low margin business? Is there a large audience? Again, we touched on that earlier. Or is it such a niche business that it's just not much room for growth? You've got to be thinking through this stuff. And sometimes that last question, is there room for growth, is such an important perspective to go, oh, so all of this stuff, I meet all the requirements, but you know what? This is not a growth market. It's not a growth business opportunity. So therefore, I probably shouldn't invest in that. And so that's what you got to be thinking about. Again, those 4 questions, ladders.com, those 4 questions. And then if you answer those properly, those become the elements of a successful side hustle. 844-747-2577 is the number. 844-747-2577. 2577. To the phones we go. Houston, Texas is where Carolyn's on the line. Carolyn, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, it's Carlin.
Oh, Carlin, I apologize.
No worries, no worries.
How can I help today?
So I think I'm at the part of my journey where it's not so much about what I do, but it's the type of company that I work for.
Uh-huh.
And I work with a very large corporation, one that, it's really hard to have a voice. It's hard to have creative ideas. And so I'm familiar with EntreLeadership, and I was wondering, is there a way that I could find maybe a list of companies that in like Houston, Texas, that employs the EntreLeadership values?
That's a really good question. I would tell you that there's a way to find out.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do is, when you're done with your call, and if this is your only question, then great. What I'll do is, when I put you on hold, Madison, she'll tell you how to connect with the EntreLeadership team. Okay. And you can literally tell them, hey, I called the Ken Coleman Show. He sent me here. Who are the companies in the Houston, Texas area that are actively engaged in EntreLeadership? That's a wonderful, wonderful question. It's a great idea. And what's fun is I can tell you, you are on to something, Carlin, because we're working on that right now. We are dreaming and scheming right now. We want to get to the point where, if you think about what I'm in, folks, I am in the business of helping people who need a great job get connected to great companies who need to fill a job. I mean, if you think about it, that's what I'm doing. And we've got some great companies that work with us and that we know are stellar and have great culture. So is that all you needed from me?
It is, honestly.
Great.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Short and sweet and simple.
I absolutely love it. It's totally fine. Hang on the line. Madison's going to tell you how to connect with our EntreLeadership team. And again, tell them you called my show and I sent them to you, and they can pull that information. Okay. 844-747-2577 is the number. Megan joins us next in, I hope I say this right, Kalispell, Montana. Megan, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. How can I help?
All right. So I'm kind of at a crossroads. I'm just going to lay it out for you so you understand where I'm at, and then ask you a question.
Okay.
So what I have now is 3 jobs. So job 1 is my full-time job. Job 2 is a part-time job, and job 3 is a side hustle that my husband and I do together.
Okay.
So job 1, I've been there for 5+ years. I'm a head housekeeper of a private estate. I quit once, and they hired me back on into the same position about 1.5 years ago.
Okay.
Job 2, I was offered about 2 months ago through word of mouth. I love it. And they recently just offered me a opportunity to work from home and keep me busy, because I'll go full-time there in 1.5 years, and it's something I actually really want to do.
And what is that?
It's working for a private estate, but more of like planning events, and I do a little bit of housekeeping, but not really. I would hire my own people, chefs and everything.
Okay. How long before you would go full-time?
A year and a half, about a year and a couple months, actually.
So you would be part-time, but work from home for a year and a half, and then they elevate you.
Exactly.
Okay, great. Keep going.
The kicker is I would take a significant pay cut.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I'm just...
Wait. So you would take a significant pay cut when you take the full-time job, or is that what I'm understanding?
Okay, so I would take a pay cut if I took... So the job 2, I'm working part-time, so like once a week.
Right.
It's really just too much having that full-time job and this part-time job.
Right, so what you're saying is you would have to leave. So what you just described, I want to make sure I'm understanding. You would leave job number 1 to do to stay with 2?
Yes.
Why? You're only working for them 1 day a week anyway. Why would you have to leave a full-time job?
It's just, I think I'm experiencing build-up, as you call it.
Okay. So
you don't, job 1.
So you don't want to be in job 1 anyway.
I really don't. I'm kind of sick of cleaning the same stuff every day.
I get it, but can you guys take that financial hit for a year and a half?
We can. We would still make over 100.
Great.
And
so in a year and a half, you were going to get that income replaced, or even more?
Replaced for sure, and maybe even more. I'm not sure yet.
Okay. And then the side hustle's throwing off some money, and is it reasonable for me to assume that if you leave job number 1, the full-time job, you've now got more time that you could put into the side hustle and thus potentially make more money there? Am I wrong in assuming that?
You are correct in that.
Well, I like that play. You didn't even ask me. I'm going to go ahead and tell you I like that play because I think you've given me all the details. Am I missing anything?
You're not. I think I needed to hear it from you because it's just an emotional thing, you know?
I get it. But you know what? Financially, this is all about the financial. We already know job number 1 is not an emotional good situation. You're just absolutely, your soul's been sucked out of your body. And we've also got a bright future ahead of us with job number 2 is going to become a full-time job in a year and a half. They already like you. And that gig is basically what you really want to do. We could call it the dream job. Yes or no?
Yes, you're correct.
All right. Now here's the more good news. You and your hubs, you're going to be able to handle the financial shortfall for a short amount of time. A year and a half goes by like that. I mean, it's over. A year and a half is gone. And you guys can absorb it. But you're not even absorbing that much if you throw a lot of your extra time into that side hustle. That makes your hubs happy, makes you happy. And I love this decision. Yeah, I would tell job number 1, I'm out of here. Gone.
But do you think it's bad to do that twice?
No.
Okay.
Wait a second. Wait. Just because you did it once and then they asked you back and you go, okay, you really need me, I'll come back. So now you're going to say, you know what? This is terrible. I've already quit once. You asked me back. I felt guilty or whatever it is. Maybe I wanted the money and I came back and I know what my dream job is. I'm sick and tired of being in this place, but I'm going to go ahead and put up with being sick and tired of it just because I don't want to tell you no twice. Now think about how silly that sounds. It's just crazy. So absolutely don't even think twice about it. Move forward. Megan, it's time to, it's just time to go. Don't even think twice about this at all. All right. Boy, I like this. So this is fun to give folks some behind the scenes. So Madison, the associate producer, I've got a big giant monitor right here in front of me. I mean, it's a massive screen. How big is that screen? What is that? Like a 50-inch screen? It's huge. Okay. And so it's directly in front of me. And so when I take a call right over here on this little panel, you might be able to see some buttons here. When I take a call, it is corresponding with what Madison has on this giant screen, and it's got 6 lines. And then she tells me Brian is up next from Denver. Now, before I take Brian, so I was like, well, do I go to the chat window? Because I'm in charge of the show. I can do whatever I want to do. And I looked up and I said, and it says Brian. And so Madison, she talks to you folks. She gets you prepped so that you can get right to the point. Some of you get a little nervous. You talk for 2 minutes and I need you to get right to the point. So what she does is she talks to Brian. She's already talked to Brian. He's in the shoot. He hears me talking about him right now. But what it says on the screen is she gives me a little bit of an idea what I might be talking about. And it says, stay or go. And I got to tell you, I got really excited because we just got done with a caller who's like, should I say no to these people? Should I leave them a second time? And then I look up and I see stay or go, and I go, oh, I love these questions. Should I stay or should I go? All right, so here we go. I just like to give you all some behind the scenes here, okay? How radio, how it works. And so I look at that and I go, oh, I love these questions. They're my favorite because here's what it is. Left, right. Fork in the road, baby. And what a great place to be in. In fact, you want to put yourself as much as you can in a situation where you've got a fork in the road. That means you are moving forward. Here we go. Brian is on the line in Denver. Brian, I set you up big time, buddy. What's going on?
Yeah, Brian. Ken, thanks for the background on that and for taking my call.
Yeah, what's going on?
I'm super passionate about my career, and I feel like I've tried to work myself into a role that I like. I have the role that I like, but I'm in a tough work environment because of my boss.
Yeah.
It's a different leadership style. It's not what I'm used to. I'm used to a servant leadership style. This is the opposite.
Yeah.
It's been really tough. I've kind of tried to approach the situation. The guy put me on night shift as a form of like punishment. And, so I don't like working night shift, and I don't feel like I have the freedom to make the changes that are necessary to, produce the results that are needed and give me the reward that I'm looking for. So I've been looking for another job. I've had a couple interviews. I have a job offer on the table right now, but it is for $30K less than what I currently make. So my question is, do I stay and, keep working night shift and try to build my relationship with my current boss and try to make it better? Do I leave for this job offer that I have right now that is $30K less?
I don't think you can. Hold on. I don't think you can. Can you do that financially?
Financially, yeah, absolutely, I can.
It wouldn't cause any kind of grief, any kind of major tightness in the old budget?
No, sir. No, I'm on the Dave Ramsey plan.
Okay, hold on. We got to move quickly. So I'm interrupting just to kind of get you to the point here. So, would taking this job that's on the table now, even though it's a $30,000 hit, does it have a ladder where you can eventually make that back, and hopefully sooner rather than later?
I'm hearing, that it does, and I feel, that there's some confidence to that. Ultimately, I would most likely be in a situation where I would have to move out of state for that opportunity.
Would you be willing to do that?
I would, but I'm in that situation right now. Do I take this job for $30K less now, or do I stay in what I'm doing and find a job that is of equal or more money with really the right role that I want and move out of state?
Hold on. Hey, what's your fear? Tell me.
My fear in doing that is that, I get into a bitter situation for myself, and that, my wife's work situation isn't, what it is now, because she really enjoys what she's doing and where she works.
Okay, so hold on. So you kind of went circular there on me. You've got a not good leadership position above you, and yeah, I'd love for you to try to work it out. I don't have time to go into what you did or what he thinks you did that caused you to be punished by being put on the night shift. I don't have time to unpack that. But you got a couple routes here. You either try to fix this with your leader and really put your big boy pants on and try to make this right. But the only reason you do that is because you actually love the role. Am I understanding that right?
Yes, sir.
Well, yeah. So if you can't fix it with the leader, you can probably find a very similar role somewhere else doing it for somebody else, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, well, that's what I want you to do. And the question is...
But I feel like I'm putting myself at risk there to potentially be in the same environment.
No, you're not. You're not putting yourself at risk because you're assuming that every leader that you go work for in the future is going to be just as bad as this current leader, and that's fatalism. That's what that is.
You're right, but the reason I am assuming that is because I feel like the past three leaders that I have worked for, and maybe this is, a complex with myself, but I feel like,
what have the past three leaders shared in common that you didn't like? I'm curious.
I don't want to be rude, but I feel just like incompetency. Just like it just doesn't seem like they are truly familiar with the job and not willing to admit it.
What'd you do that got you punished?
I feel like what was happening at work, so I just started this job. I'm 4 months into it.
Hold on. I don't want an explanation. I want you to tell me what you think you did that got yourself punished with this.
Well, I know what I did. It's not what I think.
All right, tell me.
I confronted my boss about how he treats people and, a manipulation of metrics, at work so that, we're able to get our bonus. And I don't feel like that's right. I felt like that was lying.
Okay. All right.
And stealing.
Okay.
And, I said, hey, I believe we should do things the right way and we should just earn it through hard work.
All right. Did that happen? Hold on. Did that happen in the previous jobs where you confronted the leader and then things went sour?
I would say, yeah, that's definitely happened. I mean, I feel like...
Okay, now here's the deal, bro. I don't have time to unpack this, but I'm going to tell you something. Yep. I think you know what to do, but I'm starting to see, here's the thing. You said it. You're the one that made me think this. And now I'm going to step on your toes a little bit, Brian, because I actually care for you. And I don't know that I'm right, but I'm starting to get a gut feeling, and I really trust my gut. Your concern is stepping into a new job and running into the same, the same kind of leadership problem you've had in the past. But it sounds like to me that all three of your leadership problems sound exactly the same or pretty darn similar, which means that the common denominator that I know exists is you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just wondering, hold on a second. I'm not saying you're the problem. I'm saying, do you have the guts? Because this takes guts, what I'm about to tell you to do. This is not for the faint of heart. But I'm going to keep it real for you people. Every day. Do you have the guts to go back to some of your former coworkers, people that were aware of the situation, and say, hey, how much of the problem was me? Was I part of it at all? Was I in any way disrespectful? Did I come in there like a bull in a china shop? Or did I handle with humility? Did I do anything wrong? I think you need a true 360 review with some people who know. And I think it starts with this current leader. Go, hey, I know what I did and said, because you're challenging his honesty. So I get that. So if that's a real thing, then you did the right thing, and that's just not going to go anywhere. You need to leave anyway. Because if you know that he was dishonest and he hasn't done anything to fix it, then you got to get out of Dodge anyway. And then you can go do research on a culture and talk to people who work there and find out if the leaders are good. So I'm not worried about that fear. But I got to tell you, I think you need to do some introspective work. And if you come out of this and you got some objective opinions on this and you aren't part of the problem in all three of those previous situations, the two previous, the one you're in now, then okay, let's move forward. I think we might need a mirror. That's all I'm going to say. 844-747-2577. To the chat window we go. Candace writes in, how can I feel more in control of my career trajectory after not being selected to interview for jobs within my desired field? Well, Candace, number one, I'm sorry that you've been rejected, but you're dealing with rejection right now. That's all that this is. And welcome to the real world. I mean, this is the price of admission. If you want to be successful and you want to make progress in your life, you are going to hear the word no. You're just going to. And I've taught about this, and I think your mindset is you're not going to feel in control. You know why you're not going to feel in control, Candace? Wait for it, everybody. Because you're not in control. It's like me, it's like this. I got 3 kids. Do you know what causes me more stress than anything else? I've realized this. It's not their behavior. It's me being stressed out because I can't control their behavior. Am I right? Any parent is totally vibing with this right now. And when I realize these are 3 individual human beings and they're all 3 in middle school, which means their hormones are going bananas and they literally can't make a quality decision 2 times in a row. They just can't. They're growing up. I love my kids. I can't control my kids. So when I stop trying to control my kids, it will happen when I realize I can't control them. So when I realize I can't, then I don't try to. I got to tell you, it's freed me up as a parent. Now, Candace, you can't control who's going to like you, who's going to say yes. What you can control is your mindset. And your mindset is you've heard some no's. They just mean not yet, not here. Keep moving. Karthik Raj is next. I'm in a career field that I'm passionate about, but it requires ongoing training. The training bores me. How do I stay motivated? Oh, I love this question. All right. Karthik, here's the deal. You're passionate about the field, but training is a part of the progress. You're the A student. You're the kid that I would never was, by the way. Karthik is the kid in class that likes the subject. So let's pick math, because I always pick on myself because I am terrible in math. So Karthik is the kid who loves math and just wants to be challenged, wants the opportunity to get an A on the test so that he can go home and tell his parents, I got an A. But Karthik's got to sit there in the class and listen to the teacher try to teach me how to do it. And I'm holding Karthik up. He's like, good grief, if we got to go through this review one more time for Coleman, I am going to absolutely lose my mind. But here's the deal. It's part of the deal. It's part of the progress. So take the training, and your mindset needs to shift from, I'm so bored. I've got this. This training is a joke. I don't even need this. That's what you're really saying. And you change your mindset to, it's just the price of admission. I got to do it. You know, I know that if I'm going to go to a Titans football game, I'm going to have to stand in line. I just got to. I got to stand in line to get in the game. I don't want to stand in line. I got to stand in line. Hey, Karthik, you got to stay in line. Do the training. Get your mind on where the training takes you and the future. And when you start to get bored, start to think about a better future. It's going to take care of all of it. 844-747-2577. We are moving. It just occurred to me, Madison and Nathan, that this is the fastest show on YouTube. It has to be. We don't waste any time here. We're moving. We're taking your calls. We're taking your chats. I'm sharing relevant information straight out of the headlines and from the experts, and then I'm giving you some gold like I'm about ready to do. We're not wasting any time. Boom. You know why it flies? I'm having fun, and so are you. Here we go. So I talked about this at the top of the show. 3 emotions that you're going to deal with when you face fear. I talk about fear all the time on the show. I'm never going to stop talking about fear. Now, I wrote this article. It's at kencoleman.com. So if you want the deep dive, this is it right here. This is what it looks like. Let's zoom in on this here. I'm going to put it over on this camera. I love to do this. I love to make sure Nathan's paying attention to me when he's over there playing words with friends. There it is. It's right there, kencoleman.com. I kid, Nathan. You're the best director on YouTube. And so you can go to kencoleman.com, click on articles, and you can get the deep dive on what I'm about to teach. So I'm going to move through this really quickly because I want you to understand what you're going to deal with emotionally when you face your fear. Some of you are going, I know I need to face my fear, but there's a fear of facing fear. So I want you to know what you're going to deal with. 3 emotions. Number 1, the first emotion is agony. This is the idea of first time you jump into a pool, right? Right? So I remember back in the old days, okay, I'm a child of the 80s, they had these big concrete high dives at the community pool. I don't think those exist anymore, but this thing was like 20 feet in the air. And in order to pass my swim test, I've shared this on the show before, I had to jump off the high dive into the water and then swim to the side. That was your final test. And it absolutely gave me agony. I mean, it was all I could do to climb the steps. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my gosh. With each step that got me closer to the high dive, my legs got heavier because it was my fear. So we all experience agony right up into that moment where we have to step forward. You're going to deal with agony, and it's excruciating. Number 2, here's what happens. With all that agony that you face and you stay still, because that's what I did. By the way, I failed the test 2 summers in a row because I would not jump off. I had to, in shame, climb back down the ladder. I know, Madison, excruciatingly embarrassing. In tears, I got to walk past everybody. Sorry, excuse me, you know what I mean? And you're 8 years old. And everybody's like, what are you doing? And then they're whispering about you right in front of you. Oh, he's not jumping. He's scared. He's crying. Did you see his tears? He's crying. He's not jumping off the thing. Right? I'm embarrassed. But what happens is I'm not just embarrassed by others, I'm embarrassed of myself, right? And so I can't press through the agony. So you get that agony, and then guess it turns into anger. Then you get mad. Oh, I'm mad. I don't want to feel this way. But then you actually do it. And so let's fast forward to summer number 3. I'm 10. I jump off. I pop up out of the water. I swim to the side. My mom and dad are there. My friends are excited. They know I've struggled with this. Guess what the third emotion is? Awe. I mean, you're watching me on YouTube right now. Let's go to this camera right here. I want to show you what happens with the emotion in the faces, all right? I'm going to show you the faces of what I just described because this is what happens. Okay, were you looking at me? All right, here's the deal. First, it's agony. I'm full of agony, all right? That's what happens. And then the second emotion is after feeling that way for a while, you start to get angry. Oh, I don't want to do this. Why are they making me do this? And you get angry. And then when you actually jump in the water and you actually take on the fear and you step through the fear and you get on the other side, here's what happens. It's amazing. Can I jump off again? Right? Come on, parents. Right? I remember the first time I took my kids on a roller coaster, same deal. They get to the end of the ride, I look at my kids, they're like this. Let's do that again. That was the best. So those are the 3 emotions. Agony, anger, awe. And understanding that that's normal to experience those emotions and that it is so worth it. By the way, that's why the elation and the unbelievable excitement replaces the negative emotions because you've just been built up, and then it releases and you're like, wow, that was amazing. And so whatever your fear is that you need to step in today, understand you're going to face those emotions. But I'm telling you, it is always, always worth it on the other side. 844-747-2577. 844-747-2577. One of the biggest fears that many of you are facing right now is should you quit your job? And you need a nudge from me. Should I quit my job quiz is free. 20 questions, 3 minutes or less, kencoleman.com. Go get it right now. It's going to let you know what you need to do, and I give you practical steps. Let's go back to the phones. Eric joins us in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Eric, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. Thanks for the opportunity to speak with you.
Sure. How can I help today?
Well, going on, current job is toxic. I'm not in my sweet spot. I've kind of listed some of my strengths, passions, come up with a couple of roles that I think would be good.
Ooh, I love it.
But I've got a couple of doubts.
Okay.
Based on financially and then also just overall fulfillment.
Okay, great. Let's get after this. Tell me the roles that you've identified. Give me those couple, the top 2 or 3, whatever you're talking about. What are they?
Okay, so first role, I've actually started going back to school this fall to obtain an IT degree.
Okay.
And then the second role that I've narrowed down is something in the fitness field.
Okay, be more specific on that one. And I'm going to go back to IT in a second. But in the fitness field, just let your heart dream a little bit. We can confirm this later. We're not locking you in. But what would it be in the fitness field? If I gave it to you tomorrow, what would you be doing?
One of the biggest things that's always hit my heart is the childhood obesity epidemic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. Tell me the why behind that. Eric?
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Tell me the why. Why does childhood obesity get your heart? Why does it grab your heart?
I know there's too many kids out there right now that are overweight, and I just don't feel like they have a mentor. I don't feel like they have somebody that's in a role that can help them in the way they need to be helped.
All right. Do you see that in your community?
I do, yes.
All right.
I do see some of that.
All right. Tell me about the IT side of things. What would be that role that you would fill tomorrow in the IT space? You know that if you're doing this all day long, you're feeling pretty good about yourself.
I really like working with computer hardware, troubleshooting when things aren't working, whether it's the network's down or just a faulty part within the...
All right, let's look at both of these really quickly through the elements of the sweet spot. There's 3 elements of the sweet spot. One is what you do best. The second is what work you love to do most. The third is the results that matter most to you. When you look at that filter, do both of these fit in that sweet spot? Do all 3 intersect with these 2 options?
That's the problem that I'm seeing is with fitness. I think that's what would give me the most fulfillment. But my doubt is that it's a saturated market and there's a lot less potential to earn money in the fitness field.
I do think that you've got some work to do to figure out how that would throw off enough money, but you didn't answer my question. Forget about the money side of things. Do both roles allow you to use what you do best, to do what you love, to create results that matter? Yes or no?
Yes, they do.
Okay. So I got an idea for you. What if you do both? What if you make the IT your day job, but it's a day job you really, really love? I'd call it a day job in your sweet spot. And then this nutrition stuff and working with young people is a side hustle, something that's going to take time to build, but it's okay because you don't have financial pressure to provide for yourself through it. It becomes purposeful work and it might develop into a full-time gig down the road. I think you can do both.
That's actually funny you say that because I've actually thought about doing it exactly like you said before.
Because it makes sense, man. You just needed me to verify what you were already thinking. You're ahead of me. And by the way, you're spot on. I love the IT as a great career in your sweet spot with a lot of potential growth that might help fund this side hustle. And by the way, you can get started. I'd love in the near future to know, Eric, that you've got the IT gig, you're loving that, doing that, growing, providing tremendous amount of value, and then you're volunteering and getting connected with all of the community-based services, whether it be for-profit, nonprofit, government, that are helping kids in that area, low-income kids that may not have, obviously, good nutrition based on the finances and somebody kind of being in their life. You know, do you get more involved in the fitness side, in fitness programs and recreation programs? And then, oh, by the way, I'm going to teach you some fitness stuff. It's a free class. You see where this could go? I think you have the freedom to develop the program that you want to execute on with the kids and the obesity, and you have that freedom because of the IT path. So I love that, man. Eric, you know what time it is, don't you?
I don't.
It's time to go, man. You got a great plan. No more doubt, absolutely. Eric. There's no more doubt. We have no more doubt, do we?
Nope. I really appreciate the clarity. That's exactly what I was looking for, was some clarity.
You bet it, bud. You bet, man. This is all about Eric's role, man. And he knows what it is, and he knows how to get there. Hey, folks, bring your doubts. Bring your fears. Bring your pride. I'm going to smash them. Not you, but I will put your fear and your doubt and your pride on trial. Right here, I'm at this desk, and I'm just sitting here. I'm ready to go. I've heard it all before. There's nothing that your fear or your doubt or your pride has said to you that I haven't heard before. And by the way, I mean me. I've heard it. You get that, right, folks? I've heard it. Oh, here's another secret. I still hear it. I do. I still deal with fear, doubt, and pride myself. And they're never going away. But I can tell you this. You can't overcome them. And I'm here to help you do that. Why? Because somebody out there needs you to be working on purpose because of the contribution of your work. My time is almost up, and I'm upset about it. I want to keep playing. But I want you to know that you matter, and you've got what it takes. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on!